Hello everybody, I am Baltmatrix, and today we are taking a look at Transformers Studio Series number 82, Autobot Ratchet, from the Transformers Bumblebee movie that came out a few years ago. This figure was purchased over at Amazon.com. It should be available at any of your favorite e-retailers very shortly. I both love and hate this figure. Both love and hate it. And, I have a slight mistransformation there at the feet. Now, the reason I love it is because I think it is actually a very cool figure. It's well proportioned, it's got an incredible transformation, and it turns into the cutest little doot-doo-doo truck I have ever seen. And I don't like it because, well, it's got some QC issues, like really bad QC issues, which we'll talk about in a minute. Starting at the feet and working our way up, I think the figure is molded very nicely. There's a lot of really cool detail in here, but in the few days that I've owned the figure, it feels like some of the parts have already started changing color. It's very, very odd, but I can't argue with the overall look. It's excellent and definitely alien. Head sculpt is a wonderful combination between original Generation 1 and the new movieverse. That face is very silver and very, how do I say? You know what? I'll just go with alien. Very alien. But the rest of the head sculpt works really well. The antenna in the front or top of the head work well, and the overall look is good. And hell, it's even got light piping. See what I mean? Nice light piping there. And also, it's got a nice molded weapon mount on the back. Figure comes with this big gun, which I greatly appreciate. That is a really, really big gun. And yeah, it's the same gun that Brawn comes with, too. Well, roughly the same. It's almost the same. But yeah, it's got a nice big piece there, and it plugs right into the back and sticks out like that. That's great. Weapon storage is fantastic. And I also wondered, what would it look like if it was turned the other way? That doesn't look as good. Cool, but not as cool. The parts I was talking about that feel like they've already changed a little bit specifically are the upper thighs and the crotch. They were bright white, but now they've kind of faded into this like creamish eggshell color. Yes, those are real different shades of white. And I don't know. Like, I put this under my studio lights earlier this weekend, thinking, oh, I'm going to record the review. Well, that didn't happen, so here it is another few days later, and they look darker to me. Maybe that's just me being absolutely bananas. In terms of posability, the figure is highly posable. Head is on a ball joint and has a full range of motion. Shoulders are on swivels, and then they have hinges for in and out movement. Swivel just above the elbow, and then bend at the elbow is roughly 90 degrees. No fist articulation. Would have liked to have seen it. I understand why it's not there. Torso articulation is present. Hips can flex forward and back, in and out. Thigh swivel. Bend at the knee is at 90 degrees, and then lots of foot articulation, forward and back, plenty of articulation there, and side-to-side articulation. Not as good as a Siege figure, but still better than some of the figures we've gotten lately. Now, what was it that I don't like about this figure? Well, the joints kind of suck. And that's the QC issues. I mentioned this on Twitter, and a couple of people have stated that, yeah, they just got their figures and have the exact same problems. First issue, swivels here at the upper arms, bit too loose. I could deal with that, but when you have something that's even heavier than this, or if you try to wield, I don't know, slammer bits, it just can't hold itself up. Then we come down to the crotch. Swivel here, or the torso swivel, much too loose. And then the legs here, much, much too loose. In and out, a little looser than I'd like, but I could fix that. Not totally sure how to fix the hips, other than there's a screw hole right there at the back of his butt. I'm going to unscrew that with a very tiny screwdriver, specifically a number 1 Phillips, and then try the super glue trick and hit the mushroom pegs with super glue for the upper torso and then for the inner legs. And I'll see what that does. I will report back when I do that. That'll probably be later this week. Something else that I'm concerned about with this figure happens to be the chest. Now, the entire chest section from about maybe about where the collarbone is forward down to this red component is clear blue plastic painted over white. The effect that you end up with is very nice, but as we've seen, clear blue plastic doesn't really stand the test of time, and I'm really worried that at one point I'm going to pick up the figure, go to transform it, and it's just going to crumble a la GPS, aka gold plastic syndrome. Alright, now let's go ahead and get into the transformation. The transformation is complex, but I do like it. Start off with folding the fists up into the forearms. Great. Turn the figure around and come to the back, and unpeg the panels in the back, and fold those panel sections straight out, and then butterfly open the shoulders like this. And yeah, you can see I'm already struggling with the hips and the legs on smooth surfaces. Next, come to the back area behind the head and flip it up over the head. That will allow you to grab the entire chest section and pull it forward and flip the entire chest down, and then grab the entire torso and flip it up like so. Alright, leave that there for now. Come down to the legs, take the feet and fold them up into the back of the shins. Those shins are hollow for this specific reason. Then come to the inside of the legs and flip down these little wheels and flip them all the way down so that they are on the bottom, so they act like skates. Take the entire leg and turn it 180 degrees at the thigh swivel. Do that on both sides. And then collapse the legs up like that. So this is the back of the figure, and there's the back of the butt. Take the whole section and swivel it up underneath the canopy, and then fold the legs down, but don't fold them all the way down until you move the feet out of the way just enough so that you can slide the hip section underneath the toes like that. And then we can bring the whole canopy section down, and that will peg into these little indentations that are in the shins. And just get that lined up, and they should snap into place nicely. And you will hear it just peg into place gently. And then the entire top section will snap down on top. And there we have the first front of the transformation done. And if you want to, you can leave this back section out like that, and you have your own flying little ambulance. Neat! Okay, that's not what we're going to do. This next part is interesting because there are these little tabs on the outside of the shoulders. We're going to fold the back in, fold the shoulders in, and then those tabs will peg into these little, come back here. Those tabs will peg into those little slots on the back of the upper thighs. And then get those in place, and then bring the doors up and snap them into place. So get that into place. A little harder to do than you might think, but just manhandle it a little bit and you'll be fine. Get that in place. Get that snapped into place on the wheel well there. And then the forearms have these little pegs on them, and they will peg in to the feet that are sticking out underneath. And there we go. We are done. Oh, except for that piece, which slid out of place. Neat. Got this little truck. Love it. Oh, and the gun? It plops down right on top. Nice and easy. The alt mode we end up with is super cool. I love this little truck. It's a little truck ambulance thing. It's very, very cool, and it doot-de-doos absolutely brilliantly. Now, size-wise, let's take a look at maybe Deluxe Slammer and Deluxe Warpath. As you can see, it's a little bit smaller than the current Kingdom Deluxe line in terms of vehicle mode. We're talking just a smidge smaller, though it feels definitely blockier because, well, let's face it, it's an alien car or an alien truck. I can't help but love it. It's so cute. And I am looking forward to getting an Ironhide because I think this vehicle mode in red is just going to be so much nicer. I mean, we've got, what, mismatching whites again? Come on, Hasbro. I know it's difficult. I know white is a very difficult color to match because you've got different white here on the back versus different white for the arms and side versus different white for the top. It would just be nice if they were all uniform. Just saying. Getting the figure back into robot mode isn't hard. It's reversing the transformation, but it's a lot easier to reverse it than to get it into vehicle mode in the first place. I genuinely like this figure. I really do. The QC issues are a bummer, but man, I cannot argue with just how neat this mold is. I'd be very curious if some third parties, well, not just third parties, maybe some Chinese third parties like AOYI gets a hold of this mold and then redoes it in an oversized version. That would be very cool because they would probably do it so that the, well, I mean, see all that clear plastic? Yeah, they would, I would hope they would do it to get rid of the clear plastic. That would be, that'd be nice. It really would be. All right, just gotta get that in there. Oh yeah, this is the hardest part of the transformation back into robot mode, is just getting the head lined up so that you can push the shoulder back, or the collarbone back there. And get that folded in, and fold that up. Yeah, I'm down on a couple of aspects of this figure, but I really do like it. It's super cool. And I forgot to mention that it also has a port in its butt, so you could plug it into a flight stand. That's awesome. Unfortunately, the flight stand port is kind of oddly shaped, so if your flight stand peg is too short, he's just going to fall off. And I'm afraid to touch him because he's going to fall off if I touch him too hard. Overall, I really do like this Ratchet. I just want it to be better in terms of QC. Some of the stuff I can fix, others I'm not sure if I can, or I don't want to have to fix it. There's that also. Alright folks, what do you think of this figure? Let me know down in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. I have been Baltmatrix. Be sure to hit those like and subscribe buttons. Be sure to hit that bell so you know when a new video is out. Again, thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you next time.